Barely 2.5 months after a cyber attack was revealed on the Democratic National Committee, the Obama administration laid the blame at the feet of Russia's President Vladimir Putin with a strongly worded statement issued just as President Obama cast an early vote in Chicago. The Department of Homeland Security and the Director of National Intelligence say the attacks are intended to interfere with the U.S. election process and that, quote, only Russia's senior-most officials could have authorized these activities.
Now the Russians know that we will confront them on this, and I think it will be even more powerful if we start to act in concert with other nations that have been similarly affected.
Among the Russian attacks, officials say, were hacks into emails of a White House contractor that disclosed Michelle Obama's passport and disclosure of candid emails from former Secretary of State Colin Powell, all bearing the digital profile of Russian attacks on elections in the Ukraine and Europe. Tonight's statement does not blame the Russians for recent cyber attacks on state voter registration databases, though it says most of those attacks came from computers operated by a Russian company.
I think the fair assumption is that the naming of Russia as the source of these attacks is really just the start of the story. It begins to justify other actions which are to come.
The Russian government tonight calls the U.S. statement nonsense and says it doesn't blame the White House or the CIA every time a hack against President Putin comes from the U.S. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.